Hey everyone, how we all doing? Let's get this up. Hey Sherry, how you doing, sweetie? I am rushing around like a headless chicken. How is everyone today? Can everybody hear me okay? You think you're ready? Hey Jenny, how you doing, sweetheart? Hi Sarah. Hello Wicked Crafter. Some new names here today. Brilliant. It has been a hot minute since I went live last. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? I had a few comments on my last video that some people wasn't happy about. Now, I know Katie Joy is I'm doing good, thanks, Sherry. It is so warm tonight. It's unreal how warm it is here tonight. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Wicked. But yeah, as I was saying, some people didn't like what I said about in regards to like Katie and some of the things that she's done. And I'm not here to hate on Katie. I don't hate anyone. Quite the opposite. I respect a lot of people on here. Katie's done some nasty things to a lot of people. And she's gonna get a lot of feedback from it. She's gonna get so much comeback from what she's done, and people ain't gonna forgive her. I need to make Sherry. Okay, I can't do it there. Let me just get this. Katie's done things that upset a lot of people. I'm not against Katie. She's done things to other people. I have little to no respect for her, but that's of her own actions. She's been right about a few things. I agree. Little to no respect. Oh, she's definitely misguided. But I don't hate Katie. I have little respect for Katie. Do you know what? I don't think I even went in live chat. Am I in live chat? I don't know. Am I in live chat? I think so. Just check on here. But Katie's done a lot to upset a lot of people. And there's no sort of forgiving that. Well, you can forgive that. I'm worded that wrong, but I don't even know what I'm trying to say now. I'm lost. But like, there's a lot of people on YouTube who do things badly. Saying wrong might be the wrong word for it. You know, I just don't know. I honestly don't know where to go with Katie. And I know there's a lot going on at the moment with the fundraisers for Marvin McRae's family. Now, we can look at that several ways. We can look at it like their reasoning for fundraising is good and the money should be used for whatever the people want to use it for. But then what do we say to the people who give their last thinking they're helping someone in desperate need? It's sort of completely agree. Completely agree. She does have the skills, and if she would just learn to not say something when it's not necessary. Because Katie can come across as very vicious sometimes. Very vicious. She doesn't care who she hurts or who it's going to affect. And that's where my biggest problem is with Katie. You could look at it like the Josh Duggar stuff. Yes, what she said was absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But this stuff's on the internet for a long, long time, and he's got a lot of children who don't need to see that stuff. Not the way Katie puts it out anyway. There is no consideration for anybody apart from herself. Sarah, I would love to know that too. She's in 2 lawsuits already, with probably more coming. But her words do damage. Her words and her actions that she makes online do damage. And I wish that she could see that herself. Like, Katie could be, as she calls herself, a good reporter. She knows what she's doing. But she doesn't consider how she's putting it across. Now, I always try to be careful in what I'm saying, because I know this stuff is going to be out there forever. Sometimes it's really, really difficult to be cautious on what you're saying. Sometimes you just got to say it, but not always. You don't have to always come out and be as blunt as Katie can be. And I wish that she would hear that. And I wish that she would actually hear that she doesn't always need to be as, for sure, yeah. Couldn't agree more. Like, you think about Josh's children watching to her, but that's of her own act. You think of those children of Josh Duggar's watching the stuff that Katie puts out. Can you imagine how heartbroken they would be? Of course, they'll know what their father did. But some of the stuff that Katie has said about him didn't need to be said. Accusations and that were unnecessary. We can get a message across without causing havoc on the way. Now, I understand someone's family standing behind them. And I wouldn't sort of disrespect someone who doesn't stand by their sons, their fathers, their brothers. Family is family at the end of the day, and you don't need to attack everybody for one person's actions. And Katie does that a lot. Katie doesn't just go after the person who's being accused, she goes after the whole family. And there's other creators who are just like her. And then you look at the people who call Katie out. Does there need to be 30 different anti-KJ communities, channels, that only talk about Katie Joy 5 to 7 days a week? Now, I don't think we need to call Katie out for everything she does. There are things she does and she doesn't cross a line. And there are things she does that do clearly cross a line. Hey, Melissa, how you doing, sweetie? Nice to see you all here. Thank you all for joining. Exactly, Sherry. She has no boundaries. And call her out for the things she does wrong where she crosses the boundaries. But you've probably seen the channels who call her out just because she broke wind. Literally. Now, I'm not going to name any channels, but there are the ones who literally call Katie out for breaking wind. Katie couldn't come on with a different colour lipstick. She's imitating somebody. She's pretending she wants to be like somebody. Can we just call her out on the things that she does wrong? I often wonder if there wasn't so many people calling out Katie, would she still react as much as she does to things? Exactly, Wicked. I don't care if Katie has fillers done. I don't care if she has her eyebrows done. I don't care if exactly. Hey, Marianne, how you doing, sweetie? Yeah. I think the criticism is often taken less seriously because of how much garbage gets made up about her. Exactly. How can we take anything that she does seriously when she gets called out for literally everything she does? She literally cannot breathe without someone attacking her for it. Like the example made about lip fillers, whatever she wants to have done. She talks about an eyeshadow palette she's using. Let me see. The thing about her apparently wearing a diaper. Like, come on, you're going too far. Enough is enough. Some of these people just don't know when to stop or when a line is crossed. Now, honestly, I used to follow a couple of anti-KJ channels, but I had to stop watching them all because they were talking about the same things now that they were talking about a year ago. And like, what is the point? When does the attacks on Katie become worse than what Katie does to other people? And I find that with a lot of the anti-communities. You've got the anti-mommy bloggers community, and they pull parents up for saying things and putting out too much information. And yes, to a degree, I agree. But when you're saying that this person has a spending habit, okay, so I came across Katie during the time everyone was talking about Micah Stafford. She was around 10K then, and she's really, really grown quickly over the last year. Really, like, blown up over the last year. And even when I was around 10, even when she was around 10K, they were channels dedicated to calling her out. So I know that some of these channels were calling her out this time last year. And they were generally saying the same stuff they are now, which is insane. Like, I don't know how Katie blew up the way she did, but boy, has she blown up. And it's actually quite an achievement to get to where she is. So absolute respect for that. I'm never going to be sort of, don't go and watch Katie. She's horrible. She's horrendous. I may suggest you look into her and see who you're supporting because of some of the bad things she's done. But I'm not going to suggest that people go and unsubscribe from her because she done A, B, and C. Yeah, same. I am so bored with that reasoning. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't disagree with Katie asking for her money back either. I'm going to be completely honest there. They were asking for money for a lawyer. Now, Katie donated money, and so did other people, who realised that this money wasn't quite going to where they suggested it was going. Now, as I said in the other video, people ask for their money back. That's up to them. I agree. People do forget there are real people on the other side of the screen. Katie Joy is a bit like the sun. They talk about crap, none of it really relates to anything real, and you just leave them, get on with it. Like, the channels that I was subscribed to that talk about Katie all the time, it's been a while since I watched most of them because it just bores me. I know what Katie's capable of. I know the things that she says. I know that she goes too far. What is it that's new? Who wants a channel that talks about Katie Joy 7 days a week? Is there anything left to learn about Katie, good, bad, or indifferent? And that is where my problem lays, with the anti-Katie community. Oh, Marianne, do you know about the Marvon McRae situation? The guy who was in a coma. His mother was told she's not allowed to go there. Right, so there's been fundraisers on, I can't think of people's names now, on Molly Golightly's channel, raising money for his mother to see a lawyer. And a couple of people, including Katie, have asked for their money back. One person giving $500 to the fund, thinking it was for a lawyer. Now, I understand Molly and Justin saying my donations you can spend on whatever you like. But there are people out there who are struggling. But because they got a good heart, they'll give their last $10 that could have gone on a meal. Because they find it so heartbreaking that this mother is not being allowed to see her son. And they want to help their mother. But when their last $10 is going to having their nails done or a takeaway, it's really not that fair, is it? I really don't think it's just that they could do that to people. And then to take to your live stream and say that you asked for your money back, so you're a worthless piece of trash. That could come across as really, really cruel. It just seems wrong to attack people and then to put their pictures on blast. I think you just got to look at it from where other people are coming from. When someone sees a mother breaking her heart because she can't see her son, and then to think this money isn't going to what we wanted it to go to. This money isn't helping anything we thought it was helping. Do you know what I mean? I agree, Sherry, but when you got people who think that they're giving it for a specific reason, yes, wicked. I can see what you're saying, Marianne, and I do agree. I'm not sure who started the rumour it was not going to where it's supposed to be going. And I know that people do drag Katie because they feel like it's their duty to drag Katie. And if you go to Twitter, that's like almost all you see. How often I go to Twitter and I see things, Katie, 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 Katie. And you know what? I am over it. It comes to a point when part of you would rather support Katie than talk about her. But then Katie's still crossing a line and you don't want to support that. At what point do people turn around and walk away from her? I'm sorry you feel that way, Angie. I'm here for conversation. I want to hear other people's points of view. That is why I'm making this conversation, because I want to know. I want to see what other people think about this. I want to hear other people's opinions on this. And I think by making a conversation is how you get I want to come here and I want to make a conversation. I cut both of my children's hair. My daughter has just been diagnosed with autism, and she is a nightmare to take to the hairdressers. You do not want to take her to the hairdressers. My son, we get him to the hairdressers, but then he wants to go home because he doesn't want to go in there. And we'll have a complete meltdown. So I end up cutting his hair. He doesn't like anybody else doing it. But I want to put different opinions out here to see what other people think about giving their honest opinion. Because you see people in comment sections, right? And if they think the person has one opinion on the screen, they feel like they have to give you the answer that you want. But I don't want you to come and give me the answer I want. I want you to come and give me an opinion, your opinion, not mine. And I'm sorry that someone got upset and unsubscribed. But if I give you my opinion on something, I don't want you to come back and just agree with me for the sake of agreeing with me. You have the freedom to give your opinion in this without being blasted for your opinion. I agree, Melissa. Yeah, I think they were trying to get under my skin. It was Molly Golightly. The money was actually going straight to Marvin McRae's mother. Now, Molly doesn't like GoFundMes, so she was using Cash App and things like that. And she's well within her rights too. But like, people like to know where their money is going. And I don't want to disrespect people who want to know what their money is going towards. I also don't want to disrespect people who are okay with their money going elsewhere. And yes, they are and that's another thing. Why get so annoyed when someone asks where the money's going? Why get so sort of irate, cursing, and really get angry about it? Because in realistic terms, if someone gives you an idea of where it's going and how much has been paid towards that, it could also give people an example of how much more money is going to be needed to be raised. No? Aggressively defensive is right. And how do people know when we've met the target of what they want to raise? Like, I know people don't mind going over a target. I've seen a lot of fundraisers in the last years I've been on YouTube. And boy, have some of them blown up. And amazingly, too. But there are people who like to know how much you're fundraising for, how much has been hit, where to are we on the sort of amount spectra, how far are we off target, how much more do we need to raise? I haven't heard of a target either, which is weird. I do find that a bit strange. And maybe people will disagree with me for that, but when I've seen people raising money, they normally have a target in mind. And it could be 20, 30, 40,000 pounds, dollars. But it's giving people an aim to get to. And all great if it goes above the target. Even if you feel you have to move the target because other expenses are being brought in that weren't aware of at the time. Was that before all of this happened though? Wicked. Did she buy that before all of this or during? Yeah, I'm not sure either. But she could have spent years saving for that vehicle. We don't know. And I'm not going to try to accuse someone of something they're not doing without evidence. But I think they would be a good idea to say, we're trying to raise such and such amount to do such and such a thing. We would also like to help with accommodation, maybe when they go to visit the hospital, maybe, or fuel to get there. Because I know that she likes to drive, and that's one hell of a long way to drive. And I'm not saying it's all bad, because we just don't know what's going on. And being kept in the dark is where rumours start. Okay, so she had a bit of a old vehicle and bought one in 2022. That could have been a couple of years of saving for all we know. That could be a genuine thing that happened maybe at the beginning of the year. We're now just over halfway through the year. So we can't really make assumptions of the money that's gone to that car. Like, I want to be fair to the mother. Like, I wouldn't want to be in her position. Now, personally, if my mother turned up to the hospital and I came out of a coma, I'd probably scream the room down to get her out of my room, because I don't get on with my mother. We don't see eye to eye, and she would totally try to do something for me, to me. But that's just my life. Now, in my last video on this, I did mention what Marvin had said about his mother. And I felt that. I felt a certain way about that, because I know how that feels. I know what he was talking about and how he feels. Because my mother was not the best mother in the world. I say, well, she's still here, so. But in the last couple of years, I had to completely cut ties with her, absolutely 100%. Because it was affecting my mental health. Hey, Janet, how you doing, darling? Nice to see you. Yeah, I haven't been live for so long, and now I got my new setup that my husband got for me. It's like, I'm really, really loving this new setup. My husband has spoilt me rotten for my birthday this year. And it ain't even my birthday yet. He is an absolute darling, I swear. I'm so happy that I actually married a good man. But like, everybody is welcome to their own opinions. We're all entitled to have an opinion on how we feel about things. And we're all allowed to have our own opinions without sort of bashing others when theirs are different to ours. So I feel like if I purposely put out something that people are going to go against, then they will say how they feel. Because there are so many people who are afraid that if they tell a creator they feel a different way to them, that they're going to be attacked. I've seen that a lot in a lot of chats. If you don't agree with me, don't be your kind of attitude. But I want people to come here with a different opinion. I want people to come here with something they think is right. And we can have a conversation about that. We don't all have to think that this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. You might agree with what someone else has said, but you're too afraid to share it with people on YouTube. Okay, sweetie, you're good. Thank you for joining, by the way. Yeah, it's really hot here too. It's absolutely killing me. And I've got a ceiling fan going. Like, I know that the young lady who was in here recently was trying to get a reaction. That's great. Bring your change of opinions here. See if I change my mind. That's all good. Let's discuss different opinions and see what is right and what's wrong. Sometimes it's neither here nor there. But I think some people have been really attacked for asking questions, generally. I would love air conditioning, but we don't have it in the UK. Our houses are built to keep the heat in. So when it gets hot, it's like, ugh. Like, you really just don't want to be indoors and you don't want to be outdoors. Just sitting in your freezer kind of job. But I enjoy listening to different opinions. I live for someone else's opinions. And I think when you come on, you talk about what other people are doing on the internet, you need to want to talk about it. And you need to accept that other people are not going to have your same opinion. You can look at a subject and you can say, that was out of order. That was too far. And I've seen this happening where someone will say something and say it's too far. But then someone else will say something the same but worded it differently. But it'll be okay. So then you've got to ask the question was, why did that person attack this person for saying it, but then said it in a different manner? Yeah, some of it hits personally with me too, Janet. I hope he opens his eyes soon. I hope he can tell us what happened. Maybe we'll all be shocked and none of us will have got it right. And that'll be great. We just don't know. This stuff that she's giving him and the kids, I don't agree with her. But did she do what she's being accused of is a question. I don't know. I hope she stopped giving that stuff to the children. Really hope she'd stop giving that stuff to the children. So, what are people's thoughts on this whole situation anyway. What are your feelings about the whole thing? I'm very interested to know what other people are thinking. One thing I know is Janet has got a good heart. When she comes on here and talks about things, they're normally things that hit home quite hard. I would love to go out and see Janet's horses, that's for sure. And I often go to Janet's channel watching over the horses as she talks. They're beautiful. I'm so glad you found them, Janet. You were heartbroken. And I'm sure I would have been too. Your babies are gorgeous. You have a good heart, Janet. That's so clear. One thing you can be sure of with Janet is when she does talk about Katie, she isn't pulling out the petty little things. And that is why I've only got her as one of the anti-KJs on my subscribed list. But where do people stand on this Marvon McRae story? What do you think is going on there? I see what you're saying. I do agree to some degree too. I think these 5 to 6 hour live streams every day is too much. I think that Dre definitely needs help. And not just for her either, for the children too, if she's feeding them these herbs. And that breaks my heart. That literally breaks my heart knowing she's giving those herbs to the children. That kind of scares me, actually. Now, Justin I came across when he was interviewing the guy who was staying with the Wells family. I can't think of his name. Jose. And those interviews were a bit weird, considering Jose hadn't been at the Wells place for 2 years since before Summer went missing. So I didn't really like that they hunted him down. That's understandable, Janet. If you ever want to chat privately, you know where I am, hun. We've DM'd on Twitter a couple of times, so you know where to find me. Always private, always confidential. I agree, Sherry. Totally agree. It is all of those things wrapped up in one. Angry, afraid, and sad. If you can hear my daughter, she's supposed to be sleeping. She is 6 years old now. Just diagnosed as having autism. And she likes to laugh and giggle with her toys at night. So if I randomly just burst out laughing, it's not because of anything anyone said, it's because of my darling daughter. She is absolutely hysterical, I tell you. Yes, Janet, it is 5 to 11 here. I agree this isn't entertainment, Wicked. But Dre made this entertainment by bringing it to social media. She's the one who put out the videos of her giving her children these herbs, as she calls them. They're dangerous herbs. This is far from being just entertainment. This is heartbreaking. This is somebody's life who's literally been destroyed in front of everybody's eyes. If you watch some of the videos, they're absolutely heartbreaking. And these were all put out by this one woman. So other people are going to have an opinion on it. Other people are going to share their thoughts on it. And other people are going to find it aggravating, heartbreaking. And everything in between. Because she put everything out on social media herself. We live in a day and age where social media is becoming part of real life for every person alive. Social media in 2022, after we're still going through a pandemic, people are still afraid to go out. People are still afraid to be around other people, so they do it online. Dre has been putting her life online for 5 years. Now all of a sudden she's got a major spotlight on her. And people can't be blamed for having an opinion, for having a thought on what they're seeing. If my husband was having 7 to 8 seizures in one day, I bet your ass I would get him to a hospital. And if he told me he didn't want to go to a hospital, I would be saying to him, you've got kids here. You've got kids watching you go through a seizure. You want your children to watch you go through a seizure that's going to end you? That's going to take your life? When you could have gone to a hospital and got help for it? Nobody is trying to resolve this, Wicked. People are talking about this because it is thrown in our faces. And yet it is a serious, serious topic. And it's really hard to look away when it's thrown in your face. And yeah, I agree, there is crime there, and social services should be stepping in. They need to step in. These children need protecting. I ain't making a dime off this. I'm not made a dime off this story. Not one. Dre put this out there. Dre made this all public. The only person responsible for making all of this public is one person, and that's Dre. And yeah, there are creators out there making money. But you can't really blame them when this has been thrown in their faces. People are going to talk about it. It's online for everybody to talk about. You have Dre sitting down on the floor and you can hear Marvin in the background having a seizure. That is horrific. Yeah, I get what you mean. I do get what you mean. The 6, 7, 8 hour live streams is insane. And it is tragic. It's awful. It breaks my heart when I see and I can hear her children. She's on the phone and he's having a seizure and the kids are doing everything they can and they don't know what to do. And it breaks my heart. Hey Sarah, how you doing, honey? Welcome. It literally breaks my heart to hear him in the background having a seizure. And yes, the begging for food is horrific. That poor baby. If my kid came to me and said, I'm hungry, I would do anything to give him something. If it's coming up food time, I'd say, right, here we go, there's a little sandwich or something small just to get you through till the food's done. Or if they're going to bed. My son is 7 and he will come to me at 10 o'clock at night and say, Mommy, I'm hungry. So instead of saying to me, he's supposed to be in bed, I will fix him a sandwich. And I will say, and when you finish your sandwich, now it's time for your light to go out. But if my child's hungry, then he's hungry. That's just reality of life. Children get hungry. My babies are my life. My babies are everything for me. Exactly, Sarah. How did her subscribers watch what she was doing and ignored her for 5 years? 5 years. It blows my mind. When you hear that little boy begging, you can hear in his voice that he is so hungry. That he is so hungry, bless him. Janet, you are an amazing woman and an amazing mum. I'm more than sure of it. It would break my heart. And that's the thing, Sarah. He was part of that. So you can't say that she was doing it all because he was there too. He was a grown man who could have said, no, that's wrong. Or could have said, one minute, kid, or I'll get you something now. He is as responsible as she is. And sometimes medically you have to do things for your kids that you don't want to do. And that is probably one of the hardest things you will go through. As a mother who has to deny their child food for medical reasons. Yeah, we need to remember that. We need to remember that he was there when the child was begging for food. He was agreeing to take those herbs. We do have to remember that. Thank you, Wicked, for reminding us of that. Exactly, Sarah. He lives in a different state. Okay, I get it. But he must have seen these videos online. And it makes me really, really sad to know that people who are watching this or not watching this when it comes to the father of the daughters, and if he was, then he wasn't doing anything about it. Those girls I hear have lost a lot of weight and they're teenagers. Their health could have been damaged in so many ways already. I don't know how people can watch and do nothing. No, it doesn't. It doesn't give them a pass for bad behaviours or bad choices. And we do have to remember there are people out there who could have said something, who could have done something. And the question I've got for those people is why? If you've watched this woman for 5 years, then why? I guess so, Sherry. Why else? She recorded everything. She recorded everything. And I really, really hope these videos go to the people who need to see them. I've literally sat down Janet, I am so like you, it's unreal. Little story about my daughter. We had someone come to us and say that we had someone come tell us that there was an investigation going on with the teacher in my kid's school. So I asked the school what was going on. They refused to talk to me about it. So I asked them again and again and again. And they refused to speak to me about the incident. Now, I know my daughter, she likes to run. She will, if you lose sight of her for 1 second, she will run from you. And she is fast. So, when they wouldn't answer me, I took to social media. I went on their Facebook page and demanded they told me what happened. They blocked me. Whoa! Power of attorney? Not heard that at all. Whoa, that is crazy. That's insane. That is actually insane. I don't think I believe it too. I don't think I believe that. That is bonkers. Wait, 1 second. Let me see where this is going on to. Okay, now I'm really pissed. Has anyone seen the thumbnail that Molly Golightly done? Rather. Now I'm going to put my finger over his face because this is unfair. They put him in a thumbnail. Yeah, that is really suspicious, wicked. Really, really suspicious. I can't believe they put his little face in a thumbnail. Sarah, I agree. I don't know, Sarah. Because no matter what's going on with Marvon and his mother, they should be sort of polite to each other. Whatever is between Marvon and his mum has nothing to do with Dre. I know Dre is his wife, but like from what I've seen, she has tried to be polite with her. That is so fast saying she's got an order. She's got, what is the order called? Yeah, why second lawyer? What is with a second lawyer? Does anybody know why they need two lawyers? I'm really confused about that with the two lawyer thing. Why put the baby in a thumbnail? Three lawyers? Wow. Wow, okay. Has anyone seen the episode of Wife Swap with Molly Golightly in it? First one to get paperwork and get a power of attorney. Okay. Oh, wow. Others? Okay. I'm getting more and more skeptical every day, Sarah. More and more every day. Is this turning into a major crash grab for everyone, or am I mistaken? Am I thinking too much in there? Is that everybody's trying to make money out of this? Literally everybody. Yes, back to the wife swap. Who's seen Molly Golightly on Wife Swap? How much did you laugh about that, Janet? I was weak. I was absolutely weak. How many more people are trying to get going to make money off this man? I wish I could take those kids and just put my arms around them and tell them they're going to be okay. I don't even know what to say about this. It's like, come on, people. This man is seriously ill. Sticking his little boy on a thumbnail. I didn't know when she was doing the What Case See Janet. I didn't see that. But the wife swap was hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. I would never, ever. Me too, Wicked. Me too. Show them what it is to be children. And allowed to just be children. And not have to worry about every word they say being on monitor. On a screen. That little boy would never have to beg for food. That's for sure. When I see people talking about children like they're an inconvenience, it breaks me. And I feel like her children were an inconvenience to her. I wish people would remember what they're talking about. And they all seem to have just gone way past what he was about. It seriously hurts my heart. Update on fake news. Why you treat this baby like this? Justice One Mom speaks. Andrea McRae, wow. Marvin McRae's father speaks. You're right. Those are the questions everyone's refusing to answer, Sarah. And they put a red heart over his face, but you could still see his face. Why are they putting him on a thumbnail? That is using the kids to make money. They're using that little boy to bring in views. $16K views. 16K views. Because the little boy is on a thumbnail. I agree, Sarah. People who many who can't can least afford it are donating. They don't want to give straight answers. Tell us how much money you're trying to raise. Tell us where the target is right now. Give us an idea of what this money is going towards. Is it wrong to ask those questions? Is it wrong to say, how much are you trying to get? What's your goal? Where are you now? How close are we to the target? Are they really bad questions to ask? Is it really wrong to wonder how much you're trying to raise, what it is for, and how far are we towards the target? Case, how does that make you being Casey Anthony? Casey Anthony done awful things to a little girl. This is nothing like anything Casey Anthony. Wow. Jesus. That is ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Wow. That is ridiculous. That is messed up. Katie's done a lot of things, but calling her Casey Anthony? No. There's a lot of things I could think about Katie with her son, but Casey Anthony ain't one of them. Katie has a wall up between her and her son. Them horses are gorgeous, Janet. Oh, that's just stupid. I'll say Katie's name. I got nothing against saying Katie's name. Katie's a pain in the backside, but Casey Anthony, I'm sorry, but no. She crosses a line, yeah. She's afraid to get close to her son. That's for sure. I agree. Do you know what? I think Katie's afraid to get close to her son. It's not that she doesn't love him, she doesn't care. She's afraid. Because he's got so many medical issues. She is actually afraid. And that's heartbreaking. So she has a wall up that she doesn't get close. And it can't hurt her as much as it would. And that's heartbreaking. I feel sick. Things people say. Sarah, when we become mothers, when we become first-time mothers, more than anything, we have this dream, we have this imagination of what it's going to be like and how amazing it's going to be to watch our child get to every milestone, every sort of goal in life. Big first birthday party, big celebration, and when they start walking and potty training, all this at a certain age, and my child is going to be much better than everybody else's because they're going to do it quicker than everybody else's and more perfect. And it never works out that way. Then as they get older, we look forward to them turning a certain age, 16, 18, 21. And we see it all in our minds as we carry our child through that journey of being pregnant. And then they're born, and it's nothing like you imagined it would be. And then you've got to prepare yourself for what it's not, and how different one child is compared to another. And people do that. Nothing is ever set in stone. You could go 9 months with pregnancy, or you could go 6. My son was 12 weeks early. But life is just what it is, and it turns the way it does. We never know what's around the corner. And Katie's scared. She's done articles about her son, and she's done articles about how she struggled to bond with him and life with a medically fragile child. And I read those articles and I wanted to cry for her. Honestly. When you look at everything and you think that this is going to be this, that, and you plan it out. And every woman does it throughout their pregnancy. It's going to be this, and this. I'm going to do a home birth and it's going to be perfect, and I'm going to make videos about how amazing my home birth was, and then nothing, it doesn't go to plan, and you go to hospital and you have to have a C-section, and it just means that's the way your baby was meant to be born. And it wasn't going to be what you spent 9 months planning. And people struggle with that. People really, really struggle with that. But then they sit back and they look at it and they think, well, okay, it didn't quite work as I wanted it to. So now we take each day as it comes. But Katie has been stuck in that point where it didn't quite work as she thought it would do. And that hurts her so much. I think people struggle to take Katie seriously because she doesn't care what she says. Because she's so outspoken, because she's so impulsive. And it's really difficult to take someone like that seriously. And I think Katie struggles communicating with people. Because she is so blunt and so direct with everything she has to say. And that is what offends people. And that is what offends people. That's what gets to people the worst. That she has no sort of filter. She has no limits and no consideration, yeah. But with Molly now, wow, Sarah. I'm not surprised. I'm so sorry that was done to you, Sarah. I don't think Katie wants to learn tact. I honestly don't think she cares. Katie's making money, so that's good for her. And she makes a fair amount of money, I imagine. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how much she earns and be jealous over that because it's really not that big. Like, I know people do go on and go, this person makes this much a month, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and? Yeah. She definitely doesn't do that. No worries, honey. Good to see you here. How's the grandbabies? Thank you, Janet. I love Wild when it comes to the babies. Wild is good. Right?
Flat out. Phone's still in there.
Oh, we still got a couple of school holidays left before school starts. How long have we got to school start?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Grandbabies are the best. Do you know why they're the best though? Because you can send them home. When they've totally boosted you out, you can send them home to their parents. And they can drive those up the wall too. But when you send them back, don't forget to give them loads of sugar. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. Speak to you soon, honey. Thank you. Fill those grandbabies up with sugar and then send them home. and then listen to their parents complain about how wild they were for the next 3 hours. It's great fun, I tell you. Good job. Sugar the grandbabies up.
Right, get off to bed.
Okay. Good night, babe. Yep, they love when the kids come home all sugared up. Not. Like we actually started over again like 20 years later. So we've got grandchildren and we've got babies. Yeah. Kids can do that, can't they? Right, I think I'm going to call it a night, guys. It's coming up to midnight here, and I am absolutely wiped out. My darling daughter is finally asleep, and she's not giggling anymore. A couple of nights ago, she was in bed, and she was singing happy birthday to herself, which was, I gotta say, was absolutely hysterical, considering she doesn't talk much. Good night, honey. And yeah, I'm going to call it a night, guys. So I should do another live in a day or two, I think. Good night, all.